All right, that was the president's address yesterday on Democracy Day celebration. We actually brought you that a brief version of the entire speech yesterday just to set the ball rolling on our discussion this morning. We shall be looking at the benefits and dividends of democracy in the last 24 years. That's when democracy returned to Nigeria after a long period of military rule. If you remember, just like the president said, in 1993, the last election that was conducted then was adjudged to be one of the peaceful and the fairest election would have brought in a civilian rule then in the person of MKO Abiola, who later on claimed to be the winner of that election. We saw how all that played out, and in 1999, the military finally handed over power to the civilian rule, and that brought us to where we are today. So this morning we shall be looking at the journey so far, and I have in the studio this morning to look at issues surrounding democracy in Nigeria, Barrister Sonny Anyanwu. He is a legal practitioner and a woman rights activist. A very good morning to you.
Thank you very much.
Now let's begin with the president's address. You listened to what the president said. So what can you make out from this address by the president as we celebrate Democracy Day?
Well, I have taken time to listen to the address of the Mr. President, and the way he sounded, as if all is well with Nigerians. All is not well. Nigerians are bleeding. We are bleeding. But watching the president's speech, you would think everything is well. Nigeria can move around, do their normal business and the rest.
Okay. Now, before we get to the details of the entire speech, now let's assess our democracy. Let's begin from 1993. Why do you think June 12 is so significant to Nigerian history?
June 12 is so significant because on that day, that was the day Nigeria had a free and fair election. After that day, I don't think of any other, I can't remember any other election that was adjourned free and fair election. So June 12 became so significant because on that day, Nigerians move. Remember, MKO is a Muslim, Bashir Tofa, I don't know whether he's still alive. Bashir Tofa is a Muslim. So Nigeria came out in their numbers and said, this is somebody we want. Unfortunately, the military then refused to hand over to MKO Abiola, and that's what is bringing this about, this celebration about June 12. Ordinarily, nothing would have been so special about June 12. You conduct an election and somebody won, and it's just to hand over the mantle of leadership to the person. But the military said no. Whatever reason Babangida has that time, said no. So that's just, there's nothing so special about June 12.
Yeah, but from what I understand of that particular election, the military said there were some irregularities in the election, while foreign observers are claimed, just like you're saying now, to be one of the freest and peaceful election. Was there a contradiction there for the military to have refused to allow the civilian government to take power there?
There is enough contradiction. When the military say there was irregularity and the foreign observers say, and even Nigerians, not only foreign observers, but Nigerians say, look, we are comfortable with what we did. And only the military, only them saw it, the other angle, that there's irregularity and the rest. That was the hidden agenda Babangida administration had that time. They refused to tell Nigerians what happened, why they annulled the election. It's not because of there was irregularity. That was just not an excuse. That excuse was not tenable in any way. So it's just because he has a hidden agenda, which Nigerians don't know up to today. Some of Nigerians were begging, why did you annul this election? And nothing, the man has not been brought to justice. Now he has gone for retirement. And we took it as a normal situation in Nigeria, which is not supposed to be. But I'm sure by now, if it's a proper country where things work, but Babangida should have been in the jail by now.
Well, we don't have that. We cannot prove that, just like you said.
Yes.
the president or the then head of state could not identify why the election was said to have irregularities. But when you look at the journey so far, after 1983, we saw the military government take power up till 1999, before they handed over to the then President Olusegun Obasanjo, who also was a military head of state. Now, let's look at the comparison between the military and the civilian rule. Would you say Nigeria have done well during the civilian rule? Don't forget, in the Second Republic also we had the civilian rule of the late Alhaji Shagari, and then just after Nigeria's independence we have Nnamdi Azikiwe then as president. And so many other. Now let's make a comparison of Nigerian history so far, the military and the civilian rule. What would you say has been the differences there? Are there benefits or gains in both sides of the divide, either the military or civilian rule?
Well, if Tomam, I think the civilian, to some extent, has done well. I remember when Shagari was in power, Shagari did his best. He tried to develop this country. It was during his time that the Ajaokuta still in Kogi State was built, which wouldn't have happened by now. It wouldn't have happened anywhere. Now, there are a lot of development when we're practicing democracy. But today, the difference is the difference between that time and now. You can see the benefit of democracy. It was when we now came back to this new system now. We call it democracy. To me, it's not a democracy. But however, during the Shagari era, down to Obasanjo, when Obasanjo, there was a democracy in Nigeria. People could feel democracy. There was a lot of security and the rest. So, but after that, immediately after Yaradua down here, what I'm saying now is a different Nigeria. So if you compare...
Oh, we are still following the same process. You know, when you talk about democracy, we look at the entire process, the electoral process. It's the same process so far. Oh, fine, the June 12, 1993 was adjourned to be free and fair. And then the subsequent elections will be holding in the country. So many persons have said rigging, and so many other processes are bringing in leaders who, before now, we are part of the military administration. For instance, the president. Now, what we're saying in essence now is that, can we say the military actually handed over power to civilian rule, and we are still enjoying the benefit of a leader, of a president, or maybe let's say of democracy? When you look at military regime, for instance, people tell you then there are obedient to civil rules. So persons can, when you see something that is wrong, you just have to correct it. Here now in civilian rule, people just go around doing whatever they want to do. There is no force as it stands now. These are some of the things we're looking at. Do you think military rule was far better than what we have?
I will not think military rule as a lawyer. I will not say military rule is better than a civilian. But there are lapses, lacunas, associated with this our democracy. But if you compare military and civilian, democracy is the best. Okay. As a lawyer, but the way we practice it is a different ball game.
So how do we practice democracy?
Yes, we are not practicing democracy the way it's supposed to be. Because democracy means I can come and air my view and nothing happen. Democracy means I can move from one place to another and nothing happen. Today I can't air my view. If I air my view today, I'm not sure of reaching my house today. But during military, of course, military is military. The man stays there somewhere where he is and give order, you are picked, and that's the end. But the way we practice our democracy is just not the way we're supposed to be. That's the truth. The way we practice our democracy is not the way it's supposed to be. If we are practicing a normal way of how democracy is being practiced in the Western countries, then we will enjoy democracy is the best. It gives you opportunity. I want to vie for president of Nigeria without showing where do you come from. I can wake up and say, look, I have what it takes to be the president of this country. I will not, but it's not like that again. Now, if I want to vie for the president, they say, okay, where are you from? are you from Igbo man? Are you an Igbo man? Are you Hausa man? Are you Yoruba man? We start checking where you come from, not what you can do. So that was what I'm saying. Our military, our democracy is better, but the way it is practiced is not the best way.
Now, if we look at the journey from the 1999 election, let's look at some of the lapses of the Nigerian electoral process. What are some of those things you feel we've not gotten it right in our democratic process so far?
Well, from 1999, Nigerian are now used to, okay, we want to sometimes, remember this option A4 when Professor Humphrey was, where you come and queue up. If you are for this party, you queue up. If you are the other party, you queue up. But now it is a secret ballot, which is supposed to be. But from that 1999 to this present time, there are a lot of lacuna, which we are trying to correct. Even the electoral bill, which they try to, think tank and amend and the rest, leading to the president not giving assent and the rest. This is what we want to improve. We keep on improving. We are not there yet, but we keep on improving. We now, after this election, we say, okay, what happened in this election? This was this, this was this. We improve it by amending our electoral act. But the problem is, are we doing it genuinely? The answer is no. We're not doing it genuinely. Remember what it took? We were begging the president to even assent the electoral bill. Please, put up your signature. And there's one thing or the other. Problem here and there. So we are not there yet. There is a lot of lacuna in our electoral bill, which we need to sit down as Nigerians. This is what we want.
So what are these lacuna if we have to itemize them so we get solutions to?
Well, for example, now Nigeria have come up with this electronic system of voting. This is another way of trying to reduce a lot of rigging and other problems associated to the electoral system. Where you now, if I come to vote in your ward, before you know it, the result is sent straight. So you, the returning officer or whosoever, does not have any time to, what do you call it, to mutilate it, to adjust it or whatever. So the result is sent. This is one of the things. If we now improve on it, it will lead Nigeria to a very long way. We know that if 2 parties or 3 parties or 4 parties, as the case may be, and we want this particular person, we know that if I'm coming to vote for Mr. A, that Mr. A stands, my vote will count. I will not, because after voting I go to my house and I listen to they say, okay, Mr. B has pulled, Mr. C has pulled, when I know that he has not pulled anything. But this electoral, the electronic voting system is the best way so far in any modern society. So we just have to improve on it. After this election, if we are going to effectively use in this election, after this election, we can adjust again. If there's any improvement, we'll do it. We'll continue doing it until we are there.
Well, look at voters' apathy. Even with all this technology that is being introduced into the electoral process, we still have a majority of Nigerians without PVCs. So many persons who maybe lost confidence in the system or in the process have decided not to go out to vote. Well, when you look at the population of Nigeria compared to those who are said to be registered voters, it's nothing to talk about.
Yes, you just Nigeria has lost interest. You know, the one I voted, what happened? Then tomorrow you want me to come and stand under the sun or under the rain to come and vote for who again? When we're having the same system, the same turnover. Okay, now the Nigerians cannot just come out. One, the insecurity. Of course, me and you, we are all Nigerians. We know what is happening. If we start talking about insecurity, we will not live here. But the problem is, Nigeria, our political politicians come up, bring up a confidence and instill confidence on the electorate, so that they cannot come and say, okay, if I vote, Tomorrow, I'm sure this government will give A, B, C, D as promised. But we have not seen any difference from one place to another. No difference. So how do you want me to come and stand on the song to come and vote for who? I will not, because there's no confidence. Nigeria has lost confidence. Nigeria has lost confidence. Those shouting are those people who are direct beneficiary from the politician. They were making noise. We saw what happened. These are noise, making noise. At the end of the day, they have to benefit. They get the benefit, but not Nigerians. My people in the village, not people in Abuja or people in Lagos or Port Harcourt. People in the village, how would they say we have benefited from democracy? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Our democracy has failed us. The operators of our democracy has failed us. Ordinary is supposed to be a very sweet game.
Well, maybe that might just be your own opinion on understanding of...
and that's my opinion and the opinion of Nigerians.
Well, we may not be able to generalize, but as we pick some of these issues that have played out during the democratic era, we'll be looking for solutions also to see how we can address them. Now, let's look at this administration, because I remember when President Obasanjo came in, it was May 29, before the date was changed to June 12. And the president has also established the fact why it has to be June 12, looking at the reason. Okay, we'll take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll take a very quick commercial break, and we'll come back, or we'll continue with our thoughts on democracy. All right, I still have with me in the studio Mr. Sonny Anya, who is a legal practitioner. Before we went on that short commercial break, we're actually looking at the issues surrounding the Nigerian democracy. Now, like I was trying to find out from you that within this period, we've seen so much of the reforms, just like we rightly mentioned, and then we've seen that corruption, the index or indices of corruption recently in Nigeria has been rated so high as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Is that part of what democracy is all about?
Democracy is not part of corruption. Is not part of democracy. It's just like we are giving. What is happening is the way Nigeria is. The operators of Nigerian politics have not made corruption. Have not taken corruption as a serious business. Corruption, if you ask me, is just a way of. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing. Nigeria has not done anything. The government has not done anything about corruption. The corruption is everywhere now. It has increased, multiplied. It has never happened like this in Nigeria. This is the worst corrupt government, if you ask me.
We are not centering our discussion on this administration. We are looking at the entire civilian.
Okay, the entire civilian. Well, the corruption has been
1999
there. Yes, from 1999 till now, corruption has been there. I agree with you. But it has now magnified to the highest proportion. Now, everywhere in Nigeria, everywhere is corrupt. The agency fighting for corruption are themselves even corrupt. Are themselves even corrupt. Was not the head of EFCC removed for something, for corruption. The agency fighting corruption are themselves corrupt. If opposition make noise, they will use EFCC, ICPC, or police go and pick him. That's just all. Corruption is everywhere. It's eating us so much.
But the government has also been doing its best to ensure that we curtail these issues. We've seen arrest of some politicians, even those who were elected by the electorate, were arrested for corruption.
Which best? They should not come and deceive Nigeria. Which best? Now the government has not done anything. They have not done anything.
Persons are already facing prosecution.
Yeah, and so check what will happen at the end of the day. Just watch what you follow it up and see what will happen at the end of the day. Millions, billions. We are hearing it. Billions, 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 billions. And nobody's held accountable. Nobody's held accountable. How many former governors you saw entering prison?
We saw Dare.
Yes, we saw Dare. Where is Dare now? Where is Dare? Is it not in his house? Where is Orji Uzokalo? Is not Orji Uzokalo nation?
Is in National
Is he not a senator? What happened? So we keep on deceiving ourselves. My worry is that we spend so much in the name of prosecuting those people. We spend so much. You know, after Daria and the rest was released, you saw the statement by the EFCC chairman. They were discouraged. You bring so much to spend so much. People fly somebody from one place to another to prosecute a person. At the end of the day, the person is back. It's an amnesty. What do you mean by amnesty? Why are we deceiving ourselves? We are deceiving ourselves. Please, we shouldn't continue to deceive ourselves. We are so look. Nigeria we are educated enough for people to come and start deceiving ourselves. If somebody is corrupt, let us see the person is being punished. Because if I eat 100 billion and you arrest me for 6 months, and at the end of the day, I'll come back. I'll go back to my place. I'll fly out of the country and rest. Are you fighting for corruption? We are not fighting any corruption. So we shouldn't deceive ourselves. There's nothing like corruption, please. We're just, yes, there are people working, yes, that's all. Nothing, there's no corruption. We're not fighting any corruption.
So where are we heading to? What's the way out now?
The way out is, when you are fighting corruption, come out and fight corruption. What I expect this government is, when you say you want to do this, face it and do it. Do what you're supposed to do. Not when you now come and make noise for Nigeria to come and, oh, this person is indicted for this, indicted for. Tomorrow you see the same person passing on the street with you. And you say we are fighting corruption. Why not? So Nigeria, if this government is serious, just like the presidency has less than a year now to leave the scene. Well, I don't know what he will be able to achieve within that a year. That he cannot achieve for 7 years. My problem is that there's no time for him again, as far as I'm concerned. No time for him again. So I cannot say let him come up or to strategize. The only any person coming in again now should be serious about corruption. When you are corrupt, you are corrupt. When somebody is punished, of course, you know what happened in China. It government money. You pay for it immediately with your life. If you do so, it will help Nigerians. Nigeria is gone. I know that Nigeria is gone. Nigeria is gone.
Okay, let's go back to the president's speech. The president said he will ensure a smooth and transparent transition to the whoever emerges as president in 2023. Now, looking at the process so far, the primaries this time, you heard what he said there in his speech. When you look at the primaries of most political parties, especially the two major parties, APC and the PDP, so many, like you mentioned, lacunas were discovered. The issue of monetizing primaries. Now, what does this tell us about our electoral process? That people have to buy their way into power, because if definitely you spend money to get to that place, you'll be expected that you regain your money as soon as you get to power.
No, well, when I saw what happened in the primaries, PDP and APC, I still don't have any hope for our political system in this country.
But the president was so emphatic that the process he actually expressed satisfaction with his entire process.
So if the president said that everything went well, and I'll take it went well, I'm not seeing, as old as I am, we are not hearing, we are not seeing what is happening, or we don't visit hotel one way or the other. I think we did not visit 1 or 2 delegates with dollars spraying everywhere. And you are telling me, I think China, let me digress a little. China will be laughing at us. We go to them to borrow money every day, and they are seeing what is happening. Dollars. And you are telling me, at the end of the day, we will go back, they will not laugh at us. What happened with PDP and APC, just to show that there's no more hope again. People now have to buy their way. They bought their way. Those who cannot make it, one of the presidential aspirants had to resign immediately. Because he can't bring the money, can't bring the dollars. He cannot. He resigned. If people are spreading money anyhow, when the Nigerians are hungry. Do you know Nigerians are hungry? Each time I remember what's happening in Nigeria, I feel like shedding tears. Nigerians are dying on their numbers. Every day, people can't eat ordinary food, garri and soup. Go to the north, you see poverty. Go to the south, you see poverty. Everywhere. And people now came to say, we start spreading money in here. And the so-called EFCC and ICPC, they didn't see them. But when I just saw them standing at the gate with the EFCC, I just feel like chasing them away from that place. We're just wasting their time there. They should have gone to the hotel where the man was shed. It was not shed on the gate there. No, they shed in the hotel there. Nobody uses naira again. In dollars. You just put it here. That's all.
So what's the impact of this so-called money politics on our democracy?
We are just back to square one. There's no improvement. Because a man who spends his billions of naira or dollars, as he enters the office, he wants to recoup it. That's the first thing he does. And people come to tell us, I've made it, I'm not interested. They are lies. They want it. They want it. PDP and APC, I know they will hand over to one of them. When they hand over to one of them, it's back to square one. Nigeria entered one chance. Each time I pray, I say, God, did we do anything? Did Nigeria do anything? Please forgive. Please, God, forgive. It is too much. I was thinking that the president will bring out as a general, as a retired general and former head of state, will come out and stand his feet on corruption. Everybody will be afraid. Nobody will bring this money. Because as you are coming to say, please take this, I mean, they will pick you and mess you up. Everybody will be afraid. But the same government and they are all the same thing. They are all the same thing.
Well, we just hope that I will get it right from as we move on.
I just
now
pray.
Democracy rate. Now let's look at the power sharing in the country. We've seen how in the early 1999 there was this special cabal that before power was moved to the civilian rule, that power sharing should be between the south and the north. And now, during this period, we've seen both sides providing us with leaders. Does that really define a country democracy in terms of selecting leadership? Do we have to look at region, or we get somebody, whoever emerges, as far as the person has that ability to rule the country? Do we use power sharing or zoning as a yardstick to test our leaders to rule our country?
Yes. I think if you ask me, in my mind, if you continue, we just have to zone this country the way Nigeria is divided now into ethnicity and religion.
But we cannot, you can't substantiate.
For now, we are not matured to say, okay, if you are from Benue State, you can be somebody from Benue State and bring somebody who is comfortable to be the secretary to the government of the federation, and the Benue man is the president. We are not yet matured. All we look at, where do you come from? Oh, this is an Igbo man. Where is this lieutenant? Where is he coming from? Is he from the same Igbo man? Is he an Igbo man too? Or a man from the north? We are not yet matured. So the best way is to zone. Zone the political office. We should zone. When we zone, there will be peace in Nigeria. When we zone, there will be peace in Nigeria. Tomorrow, when a Yoruba man wake up and is turned, you zone it to a Yoruba man, you zone it to an Igbo man, you zone it to a Hausa man, you zone it to Calabar man, you zone it to Benue man, you zone it to Edo man. We will zone. There will be peace.
So where does the side of merits plays out here?
Now, you see, like I told you now, Nigeria now, if you talk about merit, The two presidential candidates we have in PDP, is it on merit? Are they qualified to be there? If you go by merit, they are not qualified to be there. That's the truth. We have vibrant Nigerians. I mean, Nigerians with computer brain. There are many. Look at this former Minister for Agri, Additional. That is a brain. I mean, look at Sani from the north. Look at Obi in the southeast. We have computer brains. But now, those who came now, the people are even, before you give them a flag, you have to assist the person. And today, the person will become the president of Nigeria. My dear, I think we've just gotten it right. Wrong. And the best thing for us to, if we can go back to the drawing board, that zoning is just the best way we can have peace in Nigeria. Remember when Obasanjo was released from prison and he was given PDP ticket. Because of the injustice done to MK Abiola that we are celebrating today, they said, okay, let us shift power to the south west. And they now move Obasanjo took a PDP ticket. Ogbonnaya was one of the presidential candidates, if you remember, one former minister for science and technology, was one of the presidential candidates. They persuaded him. Said, no. Collapse your structure to one of the presidential candidates. And the two will lose. Olufalaye and Olusegun Obasanjo will now zone everything. Does it mean there's nobody who is qualified from the north? There are many. Or who is qualified in the southeast? There are many. But they say for there to be peace, because of what the injustice done to MK Abiola, you zone it. Or the two will lose. Pick one. And Nigeria picked Olusegun Obasanjo. And there was a little bit calmness. Why not continue in that way? Today we are being told that all the political parties now by this is thrown open. It's thrown open. Is it helping us? It's not helping us. It's not helping us. But when you zone, there will be peace. You zone, there will be peace.
But that's not captured in our constitution. It's a party constitution.
It is not captured in the constitution. But if we go by what is captured in the constitution, then we all fall apart. But I'm telling you, the best way Nigeria can survive, taking our religious difference and ethnicity into consideration, Nigeria will only survive through zoning. That is the truth. If you go to the north, you should come to the north. So, you remember the APC narrowly, they almost gave it to someone from the north. Not. Then you tell me, and the man say, am I not qualified? He's qualified. But you need to shift this power. You just shift it around. Just like this power is just like a fan, a standing fan. It blows you like this. But when you keep it one place, others will not enjoy it. It will be blowing me alone. It will not blow you. That is how our Nigerian democracy is. And it's even practiced everywhere in the whole world. We don't say that. There's no region that cannot produce a qualified president or vice president or anybody. Every region, even in my village, we have a qualified person who can be the president of this country.
All right, let's look at other areas of democracy so far. Insecurity, we touched on it in the beginning of our discussion. We saw from 2010 when the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast was at its peak. We've seen that transcend to the present day banditry, kidnapping. Let's look at the fight against insecurity so far throughout this administration and the administration before now, as we look at the benefits of democracy. How will you assess Nigerian security situation?
Since the inception of this administration, with all due respect to my president and commander-in-chief, President Muhammadu Buhari, in terms of security, he has failed the nation. And
but the president said he grieves every day. That it means he has the Nigerians in his mind every day as he wakes up from his bed. So why would you say
after having that in mind that we are dying? Yesterday, between Sokoto and Zamfara, 50 Nigerians were kidnapped. And 50 Nigerians entered the bush. They are there now. Nobody has said anything. The day people were killed in Ondo State, in the church, was the president not hosting the presidential aspirant? They were eating.
Well, we saw the presidential aspirants visited Owo. Almost.
Who are they? And what happened?
All of them were there in Owo.
Tinubu visited that place, was inside the car. Why did he come out? He refused to come out. He was inside the car. I believe this since I've been. All I'm trying to say, if I'm the president of this country, I will, first of all, apologize to Nigerians. In terms of insecurity, has failed this country. Nigerians are dying every day in their numbers. Anywhere, both north and south, anywhere. Anywhere you can think of. Do you know the last time I went to my village? I can't go to my village. It's not because I don't want to go, but because of fear. I will be kidnapped. So I don't want to start mentioning names. You know them as a Nigerian. Nigerians, in terms of security, forget it. All we wanted from this president, this administration, don't give us food. You have not given. You don't have to give. So forget about food. Don't give us road. Forget about road. Don't give us water. You don't have. Forget it. Give us security, where I can move from one point to another. If that is the only achievement of this present administration, then Nigerians will be shouting. When the Buhari will be leaving, will be crying. You see Nigerians will be crying on the street. Please don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go. But this is, I'm telling you, in terms of security, this government has gotten it zero, and they don't have any answer.
Well, in as much as you're trying to discredit the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, we saw their efforts in the fight against insurgency in the northeast.
What happened there?
And the insurgents have been destabilized in that region.
Okay, they have been technically defeated. That was the language of the government. Technically defeated to deceive Nigerians. Have they been technically defeated? Is people not being kidnapped here and there? I said yesterday night, 50 Nigerians were kidnapped. Yesterday, it's not too far. So where is it between Sokoto to Zamfara? That journey.
All right, as we wrap up this very discussion, so we're looking at solutions now. How do we begin to balance it that will ensure that our country enjoys democracy as it is practiced every other part of the world?
Well, first of all, we would have started with the electoral system where the proper thing needs to be done. We do the right thing. It is not those who have the money that can be in power. It happens in governors, all the state governors, primaries, those who have the money emerged as gubernatorial candidate of their states, which is not supposed to be. Now, if we are doing everything on merit, it's supposed to be, we're not saying we're going to make it 100%, at least 60 to 70%. We're not talking of 100, 60 to even 50. We know that, yes, if we do it right, if we get it right, Nigeria will be moving a step ahead. In terms of insecurity, the government should come up. Our security system should come up and come up and come. I mean, take up the bull by the horn in terms of security. Because these people who kidnap, they enter the bush. Where is the bush? Is it in Cameroon? Is the bush in Afghanistan? Is it on Nigerian bush? That our security system cannot move? Once you criticize the government, you see DSS, you just parade, you see all of them cordon the whole place. You can't go and cordon the bush when Nigerians are suffering.
Well, I must thank you so much for your thoughts this morning, Barrister Sonny Anyanwu. He is a legal practitioner and a human rights activist here in the nation's capital. Very well analyzed views from the barrister this morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Dominic.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break here, and when we return, the program this morning on Night TV continues.